This is actually episode 29. I just forgot to update the title. So this is episode 29.
Dangaronpa.
Are you sure? That sounds kind of weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master! You have no right!
I forgot I don't need to do any voice acting during the class trials.
I'm not backtalking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Shoot!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Dang it! Oh God!
Shoot!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The wooden block, but it's not.
The
really...
titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Shoot!
Oh, much appreciated. Thank you. Oh, you should tell your coworkers to check out my stream sometime.
I refuse to give up yet!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced.
What's the
Well, it said the weapon must. It seems like an air.
talking back to— You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Shoot!
Okay, this is too
The titanium arrow.
Hold on, wait. I can look at
It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must. It seems like an arrow would just be too.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Shoot!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Don't kill.
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound
Well, it said the weapon must... It seems like an arrow would just be...
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It's... Seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master!
Wait, how do I say?
You have no right!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Okay, so I'm in Clash Trial 5. Okay, found it. Got it. Okay. I finally figured it out.
Shoot!
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right?
It seems like an arrow would just be... No, that's wrong! You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably uses duct tape to bind... bind multiple arrows together.
Really? I know. Okay, whatever.
Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe.
Oh. Oh. See, I didn't think of that. Okay, go off.
And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Were you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Yes, you have. Wait, yes, you will. Yes. Yes, you. No. No, that we will. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. I forget. I can't do. I can't do. I can't do more than. I don't have a strong enough memory.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to. The death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
No. Wait. Okay.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just, there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know?
Right! Okay, yeah.
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Shoot!
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room.
What?
Correct?
Shoot!
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Shoot! Is it... I refuse to give up yet!
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room. Correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Yeah,
No, it's wrong! If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room.
Huh? Why not?
Because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room,
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
it would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
Oh, this is new.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room, that it was someone else.
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead, and then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Nuh-uh, time is not up.
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
Wait, what? Oh.
Now, who will be chosen? As the Blackened, will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? Hey, hold on! What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
What? No! No way! There's not enough proof! There's not enough proof yet! I can't die! I'm the main character! You can't kill off the main character!
Sorry.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
None of this makes any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey!
It makes perfect sense.
Shing!
It's the same as always. It's just like all the other class trials. And I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills, chills, kills!
It's time for your heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment.
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
Wait, no! Wait, no, I chose the wrong, I should have pursued the lie, really? Wait, I should have pursued the lie, wait, hold up! What the fuck? Yeah, hey, come on, man. Hey, wait, you, I'm the main, something's, you're really not gonna, not gonna, after school lesson. Why are you not running away? It's not like you bound or, anything. Or is your butt glued to the seat? Get off! Get off the seat, dummy! Why are you just sitting there like an idiot? Get off! Chihiro? Something's gonna happen. I'm not gonna die here. Exactly. I knew I would be saved because I'm the main hero. Maybe my butt is glued to the seat after all. What's this? What's going on? Hey, was that?
This is...
Is this some stupid virus from that stupid guy? He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell! I don't believe this!
It would seem...
It seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you've miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
In other words,
What I'm saying is, you shouldn't have underestimated us. Why are you talking like you've already won? I barely felt a thing. It was a pinch, an itch. The stupid virus is gone now, got it? And so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get to smash him flat, but you're never gonna see him again.
Yaha!
To waste away in a garbage-strewn pit. In a way, that's even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire world.
calm down.
It's okay. We're not the ones being trapped this time.
In other words,
Now, it's the mastermind that's been ensnared.
What did you say?
so...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. See, I knew I wouldn't be killed. You just can't kill off the main character. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. So, I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. Getting out of here isn't gonna be easy. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are an all-around bad idea? I feel like I'm blocked in on all sides. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. Bruh. Looks like more trash.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash? Rude.
It smells awful.
Well, yeah.
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here?
So,
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. But, you got some garbage in your hair.
hey,
First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished. That really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. So, you still haven't given up then? After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. Why'd you come to rescue me?
So,
To pay a debt? Or, no, to atone.
you...
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So, you knew that I knew?
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that! You didn't abandon me! No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason that I had to survive, no matter the cost. Why did you have to survive?
It's true.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. The reason I had to survive.
In other words...
is so that I can do what I came to this school to do. I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason.
Indeed.
That's right. At least I did once. Until recently, I'd forgotten what it was.
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at this school? You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point my memory was gone. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to the school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would make you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose, and my ability, somehow they would interfere with the Mastermind's plans.
However,
And it could also mean somehow my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the Mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
why is that?
If I did that, and we all worked as one, the Mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the Mastermind is actually one of us.
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal out of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right?
However,
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. Because among everyone, you were the least likely to be the Mastermind. That was just intuition, but your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the Mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
listen.
Are you okay? Oh, yeah, it's nothing.
Hey,
See? It's been about, okay, yeah, it's been a minute. Even now, I still trust you, you know? It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So, how did that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So,
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. My ability, what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective. Yeah, like we didn't see that one coming, but a ding! Anyway. Could have fooled me.
correct.
And the reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school.
So,
It was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. Why did you want to find a headmaster? Because he's my father. Oh shit.
In other words,
I was separated from him as a child, and as it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. When Alter Ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved,
Huh?
No matter what,
So,
my memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him.
however,
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear, so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on. Based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. The commas, please.
so,
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess. The desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there.
it's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key that I'd found. Because I also found this in the headmaster's room.
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room along with Mukuro's profile and that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. And I figured the headmaster would have had some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, the room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room.
However,
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. Which is... oh shit, my bad. Ooh, yikes. Which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. It has to do with Mukuro Ikusaba, doesn't it?
however,
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi. So then who did kill her?
anyway,
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikusaba was to get me killed.
indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right. In other words,
the mastermind is adamant about following the rules. And with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it.
Hey.
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba. There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. I could have become the victim?
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? I can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death. I can hear the god of death as he moves. That almighty natural, that ability naturally draws me into cases just like this.
Anyway,
which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms, and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell, and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
Correct.
I ran into your room, and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
that wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead.
Correct.
And the murder was disguised. And the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. So all this would mean that whoever killed Makuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's pretty bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't intervene, right?
Correct.
You're right. That is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction.
In other words,
it means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered.
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more, and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair, and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair was just one person.
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event.
that's right.
What happened a year ago? The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history.
It would seem...
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair?
Indeed.
They're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. Hell yeah! And with that, I'm gonna end tonight's episode. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week, probably Monday. And yeah, good night. It do be like that sometimes.